What's up, YouTube? Mano here. Guys, today I want to share this 5-1 progression with you quickly. Let me just quickly show you what it is, and then after that we're going to break it down. Okay, so the progression sounds something like this. I'm sure most of you have heard that before. So if you know this progression, you know how it works, stuff like that, then you don't really have to watch the whole video, okay? But if you've heard that before and you always wondered, what is it? How do I use that thing? That's what we're going to get into. Okay, so the progression is a 5-1 progression. So I'm going to demonstrate what that is in the key of C. So in the key of C, a 5 is usually like a G dominant to a C1, okay? Or 5 dominant to a 1 major. So that's typically a 5-1. So it's some kind of a dominant chord over the 5 and then some kind of a major chord over the 1. Okay, that's a 5-1 progression. So the chords we're going to use is, so over the 5, the dominant chord that we're going to use for this example is it's a G13. Okay? And then over the 1, we use the C6-9. Okay? Those are the two chords that this move is sort of based upon. Okay, so let me just break down those two chords quickly. So the first one, G13. Okay, if you look at this chord, there's your G major chord. Add the 7, the dominant 7. You add the 9, so you have a G9. Then you add the 13. Okay, that's a G13. So what we do is, we take the 9, or the A, play it up an octave. Okay. So then we remove it in the left hand. And now all you do is you take the 3, or the B in this case, play it with your right hand. Okay, so that's the chord. That's the voicing we're going to use. Okay, so that's over the G, that's the G13. Over the 1, we have this chord. It's a C6-9. Okay, so it's a C major chord in our left hand. Here's your C major chord. Okay, but we're spreading out the chord, so we're taking the second note, play it up an octave. Okay, that's our left hand. Our right hand, we're playing a 6-9. Okay, so where's the 6? The key of C. 6 is that A. And 9 is the D. Okay, that's the chord. So now all we're doing is we're playing that G on top as well. Okay, so those are the two chords. G13 to the C6-9. Okay, so that's the foundation of the chord. But we're going to use a slightly different voicing than that. And we'll get into that, okay? But first I want to show you how you can use this progression, this 5-1 progression. So the thing to keep in mind here is the last chord that you're playing. Okay, so in our example, we're going from the G to the C. So that C is our target note. Okay, that's the chord we're approaching. Okay, so just keep that in mind. So this is a passing move that gets you to a major chord. Okay, from a dominant to a major chord. So C major, let's look at C major. In which keys do you have a C major? Okay, I'm going to show you two examples. There's more, obviously, but I'm just going to show you two easy ones. So one key where you can use the C major chord is in the key of G. Okay, so in the key of G, that C major is a 4 chord. So basically you can use this passing chord, this 5-1, you can use it to get you to the 4 in the key of G, or to get you to the C. Okay, an example of that is, let's say something like Every Praise. Okay, so we can do Every Praise. Okay, so that song, Every Praise, the progression usually goes from the 1 to the 6 to the 4. So that's what we're going to use it. We're going to use it to get us to that 4. Let me just show you how that sounds. Okay, so it sounds something like that. Okay, so I did it to get us to that 4 chord. Another song, Amazing Grace. Okay, that also took us to the 4 chord. Okay, so anyway, that's in the key of G. So you can use it in the key of G to take you to the 4 chord. But you can also use it in the key of C. Okay, so you can use it to get you to that C chord, which is the 1. Okay, and if you think about it, all songs go to the 1. Okay, most of the songs go to 1. So you can use this almost in every single song that you can think of. Okay, so I'm going to use that progression again in the song Amazing Grace. Okay, but this time we're going to do it in the key of C to take us to that C. And let me just show you where we're going to use it. Okay, so the song goes to the 4. After this 4, it usually goes back to the 1. So that's where we're going to use it. Okay, so we're going to go. Okay, so that's where we're going to use it. So just keep that little melody in mind. Okay, so it goes. So once again. Okay, so that's how it sounds. So now I want to show you how to do that move in all your keys. And I actually want to show you the different steps that you can take to kind of get you to that place where you can play it in all keys. Okay, so what it is, let me show you those steps. So first thing is, back to those chords. Okay, we're not going to play those voicings. We're not going to play the bass note. We're not going to play the 5 and the 1. Okay, instead what we're going to do is, here's the 5. We're going to remove the bass note. Okay, so we're going to remove the G and we're going to remove the D, but we're going to keep that F. And then on the C chord, we're going to remove the C and we're going to remove the G. Okay, and we're going to keep the E. Okay, so now it sounds. So that's what we're going to be working with. We're going to be working with that voicing. Okay, so now if you look at the chord, if you look at the right hand chord, this is a quartal chord. See, it's built in fourths. So what that means is from B, a perfect fourth from B is your E. And from the E, a perfect fourth up is your A. Okay, so the chord is built in fourths. Okay, so that's the voicing you use on the 5. And then on the 1, it's the exact same voicing. It's just a whole step down. Okay, so that makes it easier to do this move. And now left hand, all you're doing is you're going down a half step. So now the question is, when do you use this? How can you quickly play this move in different keys? So first thing I suggest is practice these chords. Okay, first go up, practice it chromatically. And once you do that, try to pick a random note. So say A flat. And then immediately play that quartal chord with A flat is on top. Okay. So once you have that down, once that's easy, now you do the next exercise. This exercise is you play the chord and then you go down a whole step. So let's say C. If you had to do that in C, you go C, being your top note, and then you go down to B flat. Okay, so you jump down all steps. Another key, for example, E to the D. Okay, so you do that, you get used to that move from any position on the piano. And once you have that down, now you add the left hand. Okay, so the left hand is a shortcut. It's actually a tritone away from the bottom note. Okay, so tritone from the D is your A flat. Okay, but if you don't know what tritones are, what you can do is, you see the second note that you're playing. This is a D, G, and C. The middle note is a G. So just play a half step above that. Okay, so a half step above G is A flat. And that's the chord and you play in your left hand. Okay, and then from this, just go down a half step with your left hand. And your right hand goes down a whole step. So another question is, once you do this move, once you have this move down in all your keys, how do you know which key you're in? So this is how it works. Whatever your top note is, that's going to be the 5 of the key that you're in. Okay. So if my top note is D flat, that D flat is the 5 in the key of G flat. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. That's in the key of G flat. So then you know this move is in the key of G flat. So you go. Key of G flat. So that's how you can quickly find this in all your different keys. So once that's down, once you have these down, okay, just use blocked chords for when you're starting out. But once you have that down, now you can start adding these little chromatic moves in your left hand. So now let's go back to the key of C. Back to the key of C. So now the last step I want you to do, the last thing, is play around with chromatics. Okay, so what that means is, remember the left hand note is a half step above the middle note here. Okay, so from E to the F. Okay, so which means we're playing the F. So now, since you know you're trying to get to this chord, all you need to do is approach this F chromatically. It doesn't really matter how many steps you use to get. Okay, so for example, you can go one half step to the F. So you can go, or you can go 2, or you can go 3, or 4. It doesn't really matter how many notes you play to get you to that F, as long as you use chromatics. If you have a lot of time, you can go whatever the case is. Okay, so now all you need to do is think of any song that goes to the 1 chord, which is most songs, and then you think of any song that goes to the 4 chord, which is most songs, and then try to use that move in there. Okay, and when you're starting out, do this in every single song just to get used to that sound and that move. And once it's automatic, you can do whatever you want. You can either use it or don't use it. Okay, but anyway, that's what I wanted to share with you today. I hope that made sense. If it did, leave a comment, let me know, and then I'll see you again real soon. Thank you. God bless. Bye-bye.